The warning alarms blared across the Empire's outer border. For centuries, the Virex Empire had prided itself on control. Its fleets patrolled the outer rim like vigilant predators, monitoring trade lanes, jump gates, and uncharted sectors. Nothing entered their space unnoticed, or so they believed. Then it appeared. A ship unlike any they had ever seen, massive and sleek, gliding through the void with impossible velocity. Its hull shimmered faintly, reflecting starlight in a way no known material should. Sensors tried to lock on, scan, analyze, but every attempt failed. Its speed defied expectation. Its trajectory ignored gravitational pulls and orbital mechanics. The Virex officers stared in disbelief as the unknown vessel ignored hails, warnings, and even direct orders to stop. "Captain, identification protocols cannot lock," shouted Lieutenant Varek, his claws tapping the console in frantic rhythm. "It's not responding. Its shields are impenetrable. Propulsion signature is anomalous. Faster than our best calculations." The captain, a crystalline figure with facets glinting under the bridge lights, ground its teeth in frustration. "Impossible," it hissed. "No ship can exceed warp safety thresholds while maintaining integrity. No ship can refuse a direct transmission without consequence." Yet here it was, drifting toward the heart of the sector with unwavering certainty. The Empire scrambled its patrol fleet. 10 frigates jumped into position, followed by 2 dreadnoughts. The unknown vessel accelerated, ignoring their formations, appearing and disappearing across the void in bursts that rendered targeting systems useless. Every attempt to intercept was met with precision evasion. No weapons hit. No shields flared in response. Only the faint hum of alien sensors straining against an impenetrable force. "Prepare the blockade," the captain ordered. "Seal the jump gates. If it intends to cross, it must pass through our defenses first." The alien fleet moved, but it was already too late. The ship approached the first border station, a massive orbital hub designed to control traffic and enforce military dominion. Lights flickered as the humans aboard the unknown vessel unleashed the first demonstration of power. A pulse of energy struck the station, not a blast, not destruction, but a precise disablement. Weapons offline, shields frozen, communications jammed, but the station itself remained intact. The Virex military had never seen technology like this. They had faced fleets, weapons, and rogue systems, but nothing like this. "Is it a warship?" one officer asked nervously. "Or a test? A probe?" "Neither," the captain growled. "It is something beyond our understanding. And it does not answer to us." Messages flew frantically through the Empire's communication network. Commanders convened, diplomats argued, and panic crept into every council chamber. The unknown ship moved with singular focus, its course unwavering, its power undeniable. Even the most seasoned officers whispered of ancient legends of human engineering, stories dismissed as myth. Now those stories felt painfully real. On board the vessel itself, the crew worked with silent efficiency. Captain Leora Kane observed from the bridge of the Aetheris, calm and composed. Every system monitored, every weapon primed, every contingency accounted for. The humans did not panic. They did not react with anger or desperation. Their mission was simple: observe, proceed, and enforce presence if necessary. The alien fleets tried to respond with force, firing volleys of energy and missiles at the ship. The Aetheris glided through them as if the attacks were illusions. Sensors recorded trajectories, shields adjusted instantly, and no shot came close. The humans were not merely evading, they were demonstrating. Kane's voice was soft but resolute. "They will learn. This is the first warning. Humanity does not ask for permission. Humanity does not beg for recognition. And humanity will not stop." Across the galaxy, neutral observers glimpsed the anomaly. Trade fleets halted, communications buzzed with speculation, and distant militaries monitored in fear. The humans had arrived. The Virex Empire, proud and unchallenged for millennia, was suddenly on edge. Their patrols, their fleets, their knowledge, all were inadequate against the unknown. One thing became clear. This ship was not theirs, it did not recognize their authority, and it refused to stop. In the vast silence of space, the unknown vessel glided forward, unstoppable, inevitable, and entirely human. The Empire realized, too late, that it was no longer in control. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy had better pay attention. The unknown vessel moved through the border systems like a shadow across the stars, silent, unyielding, and impossibly fast. The Virex Empire scrambled its fleets, deploying every available cruiser, frigate, and interceptor to intercept. Commanders barked orders, generals shouted at navigation officers, and signals raced across the void demanding compliance. Yet every attempt to slow the human ship failed. Shields held firm against plasma volleys. Engines warped spacetime in ways alien engineers could not predict. From the bridge of the Aetheris, Captain Leora Kane watched every movement of the Empire's forces unfold on the holographic display. Her crew worked silently, inputting calculations and adjustments that seemed almost casual, but were the result of decades of planning, simulations, and understanding of enemy behavior. Humanity had anticipated this. Humanity had prepared. Lieutenant Rami spoke, his tone steady. "They're attempting to corral us toward the Vega Gate, ma'am. Trajectories predict a high-speed intercept, but their calculations don't account for relativistic maneuvering. We can disable their blockade without engagement if we apply precision targeting." Kane nodded, eyes narrowing. "Do it. We do not destroy unless necessary, but we enforce every principle. Let them understand what happens when they attempt to dictate terms to humans." The first strike demonstration was not a blast of destruction, it was surgical and terrifying in its clarity. The ship aligned a low-yield pulse against one of the Virex orbital defense stations, designed to control traffic and project power over the sector. In an instant, every weapon system froze, communications went silent, and propulsion arrays locked in place. The station remained intact, its structural integrity unharmed, but it was entirely neutralized, powerless to act. Across the Empire, panic spread. Advisors, generals, and politicians realized that this was no ordinary incursion. No ship had ever moved with such precision, speed, and indifference to convention. Entire fleets that had once been symbols of dominance now seemed fragile and inadequate. "Is it a demonstration or an attack?" one officer asked, voice trembling. Kane's voice came over the comms of her internal bridge network, calm and authoritative. "It is a demonstration. A warning. Humanity enforces the cost of aggression, and the lesson begins now." The Empire's fleets attempted to respond, moving en masse toward the Aetheris. Every calculation, every weapon deployment, every evasive maneuver was anticipated. Human ships adjusted their positions in microseconds, avoiding collisions, intercepting weapons, and neutralizing threats with precision that seemed preternatural. The alien commanders could not comprehend it. Every plan they made was already countered before it could be executed. On the bridge, the hum of the ship's systems resonated almost audibly, a reminder of the latent power contained within. The railgun remained dormant for now, its potential a psychological weapon as much as a technological one. The humans did not act recklessly. They acted with purpose, teaching restraint, control, and consequence simultaneously. By the third hour of engagement, the Virex Empire realized their mistakes compounded with each failed maneuver. Ships meant to intercept now became liabilities. Tactical decisions were overturned in seconds by unseen human anticipation. The galaxy itself seemed to shift under the presence of the Aetheris, the unknown ship that could neither be caught nor coerced. "Prepare secondary measures," Rami said quietly. "We can disable their fleet coordination without destroying ship. Precision, minimal engagement. Humanity does not kill without reason, but we enforce principle without compromise." Kane's eyes scanned the holographic display, every enemy vector recorded, every system accounted for. Do it. They need to learn that attacking, threatening, or attempting to control humans comes with consequences. A pulse of energy lanced toward the nearest Virex frigate. It did not explode, it did not burn, it simply stopped. Systems froze, engines failed, and weapons locked inert. The alien crew stared helplessly as the human ship moved on, leaving them alive but powerless, a living testament to control and supremacy. Across the Empire, whispers spread among fleets and civilians alike. Stories of the unknown ship, faster than thought, impervious to attack, and unwilling to submit, began to circulate. Fear replaced arrogance. Respect replaced hubris. Captain Kane finally spoke to her bridge crew, voice calm, steady, unwavering. They fired on humans first. They sought to dictate terms, to test patience. Let them understand the cost. Humanity enforces, and the galaxy will learn that lesson well. The ship continued its course, unstoppable and deliberate, a symbol of the unyielding power that humanity now projected into the stars. The Virex Empire had received its first warning, and the galaxy would soon learn that warning was only the beginning. Every attempt to stop the human ship failed. The Virex Empire had thrown everything they could muster at the unknown vessel. Squadrons of interceptors, capital ships bristling with plasma cannons, and even experimental stealth hunters designed to ambush and disable enemy craft. Yet every strike was anticipated, every maneuver countered with uncanny precision. The humans moved like a single organism, calculating, adapting, and neutralizing threats before they became real. On the bridge of the Aetheris, Captain Leora Kane observed the chaos with cool detachment. Her crew input adjustments, analyzed every enemy tactic, and coordinated strikes with a fluidity that made even the most advanced AI seem slow. Humanity did not act out of vengeance, nor did they react emotionally. Every decision was calculated, every outcome foreseen. Lieutenant Rami reported, "They're attempting a pincer maneuver with the Vega-class cruisers. Probability of successful interception, 0. Their movement patterns are fully predicted. We can neutralize their offensive capabilities without a single vessel destroyed." "Proceed," Kane said, voice calm. "We enforce the law, not annihilate. Let them learn the difference between aggression and survival." The humans moved with surgical efficiency. Using microwarp jumps and relativistic bursts, they infiltrated enemy formations, disabling command vessels, scrambling fleet coordination, and rendering weapons systems inert. Ships that had once been feared as symbols of Virex dominance now lay motionless, their crews helpless and confused. Across the galaxy, the impact was being felt. Neutral systems recorded the encounter with awe and fear. Messages raced through interstellar networks. A single human ship had neutralized multiple fleets without destroying a single civilian habitat, without collateral damage, and with absolute control. The unknown vessel was no longer an anomaly, it was a standard of human supremacy. Attempts at communication continued. Alien diplomats tried to negotiate, to warn, to bribe, even to threaten. Each message was ignored or intercepted and analyzed. Humanity was not interested in words. They were demonstrating principle. Aggression carried consequences, and those consequences were unavoidable. A Virex dreadnought attempted one last desperate strike. It fired volleys of high-yield plasma toward the Aetheris, hoping to overwhelm shields through sheer volume. The railgun, now fully online, reacted instantaneously. A single, precise strike shattered the dreadnought's command core. The vessel disintegrated in microseconds, fragments scattering harmlessly into the void. The remaining fleet hesitated, paralyzed by the sudden demonstration of power. Captain Kane addressed her crew, her voice firm but quiet. They believed they could test us, provoke us, or intimidate us. They were wrong. Humanity does not retaliate blindly, we enforce the law. And the law is clear. Attack humans and you pay the price. By the end of the engagement, The Empire's fleets had been neutralized. Ships drifted inert in space, systems disabled but structures intact. Alien crews stared helplessly, coming to terms with their mistake. Humanity had not only defended itself, they had rewritten the rules of engagement. Aggression against humans no longer carried chance or hope, it carried certainty. The Aetheris and its supporting vessels moved forward, continuing their course into the border sectors. Every movement, every micro-adjustment, every display of controlled power was a lesson to the galaxy. Humans did not need war to demonstrate superiority, they enforced it with precision. In the councils of the Empire, leaders whispered in terror. "It is no longer a ship, it is an executioner," one voice said. "We cannot stop it, we cannot predict it, and we cannot reason with it." Humanity had stopped asking for permission. Humanity had begun enforcing its will. And the galaxy was taking note. The Virex Empire was on the brink of collapse, not from war but from realization. Every fleet they had deployed, every tactical maneuver, every desperate gambit to stop the human ship had failed. Commanders argued, advisors panicked, and diplomats scrambled for solutions. Yet the unknown vessel moved forward relentlessly, unstoppable, its presence rewriting the very rules of engagement. Captain Kane observed from the bridge of the Aetheris, her eyes scanning the holographic displays of enemy formations. The humans did not panic. They did not act impulsively. Every movement was calculated, every strike precise, every demonstration deliberate. Humanity had anticipated the Empire's response long before the first warning pulse disabled the orbital station. "Multiple Vega cruisers attempting to flank us," Lieutenant Rami reported. "Course corrections predict they will collide if we maintain trajectory. We can neutralize their command structure with minimal force." "Do it," Kane said calmly. "Show them what happens when they assume they can dictate terms to humanity." The humans moved with surgical efficiency. Microwarp jumps, relativistic bursts, and precise energy pulses disabled enemy systems without harming the structures themselves. Ships meant to intercept became immobilized, engines frozen, weapons offline. The humans demonstrated that power could be absolute without unnecessary destruction. Across the Empire, panic spread like wildfire. Command councils dissolved into arguments, generals blamed one another, and fleets lost cohesion. Humanity's vessel did not merely evade, they dictated the battle, controlling outcomes before the enemy could act. Neutral worlds watched in awe and terror. The human ship was no longer just a vessel, it was a symbol of supremacy. A desperate counterattack was launched. Dreadnoughts and frigates converged on the Aetheris, hoping to trap it within the gravity wells of a nearby star. Calculations projected near impossible odds for interception. Humanity anticipated it. With a series of precise microjumps and energy pulses, the humans neutralized the fleet, leaving ships intact but entirely disabled. Not a life was lost among civilians. Not a building destroyed. Every strike was a lesson in control. Captain Kane addressed her officers, her voice carrying quiet authority. They believed speed, numbers, and aggression would protect them. They were wrong. Humanity does not fight recklessly. We enforce law, precision, and principle. Let every system, every fleet, every commander understand the cost of misjudgment. The Empire's leaders finally understood. This was not a negotiation. This was not an act of diplomacy. This was a demonstration of human supremacy, a lesson written in the stars. Every fleet, every station, every orbital defense system had been shown their place. Resistance would no longer be tolerated. Humanity's ship moved forward, unstoppable and deliberate, each pulse of energy, each movement a silent assertion of authority. The railgun remained ready, a latent reminder of ultimate enforcement. The Empire was forced to reconsider its entire approach to humans. Strategies, alliances, and ambitions were recalculated in fear. Every decision, every fleet, every diplomat now knew one immutable truth. Humans could not be coerced, intimidated, or ignored. In the silent void between stars, the Aetheris glided onward. The humans did not celebrate. There was no arrogance, no triumph. Their mission was simple: enforce, demonstrate, and ensure understanding. The galaxy had witnessed the price of misjudgment, and humanity had ensured the lesson would be remembered forever. The Virex Empire had no choice left but to submit. Fleets lowered their weapons, orbital stations stood powerless, and fleets in disarray signaled surrender. Humanity had proven its supremacy not through indiscriminate destruction, but through precision, restraint, and an unyielding display of power. The unknown ship, Aetheris, moved steadily through the sector, its presence a constant reminder that aggression against humans came at a cost no one could survive. Captain Leora Kane observed from the bridge, calm and composed. Her crew logged every disabled system, every surrendered vessel, every compliant commander. The humans had not sought glory. They had not sought revenge. They had enforced principle. The railgun remained offline, a silent sentinel, its mere presence enough to remind the Empire of what awaited if they miscalculated again. Lieutenant Rami reported, all remaining fleets accounted for. Civilian populations untouched. Command structures disabled. The Empire is fully compliant. Good, Kane said, voice steady. Ensure all communications to the Virex command emphasize the law. Aggression against humans carries consequences. Let them know it is not negotiable. Let them know it is absolute. Across the Empire, the message spread. Diplomatic envoys transmitted apologies, fleet commanders realigned, and civilian worlds observed humanity's demonstration with awe and apprehension. The unknown ship had not conquered territories, nor destroyed civilizations. It had rewritten the rules of engagement. Humanity's presence alone enforced order. In distant sectors, other species took note. Traders, explorers, and diplomats transmitted data across the galactic network. Humanity had demonstrated a level of precision, technological advancement, and strategic foresight that no species could ignore. Neutral and allied civilizations alike reconsidered their policies, alliances, and approaches. Humanity could not be bullied, bribed, or threatened. Captain Kane looked at her crew, her voice quiet but resolute. They thought they could test us, provoke us, or intimidate us. They were wrong. We do not fight for destruction, but we do enforce the law. Let this be clear. Humanity remembers, humanity calculates, and humanity enforces. Always. The Aetheris moved beyond the border sector, leaving compliance and awe in its wake. The railgun glimmered faintly in the ship's core, a reminder that enforcement was not a threat, it was reality. The Empire had learned the cost of misjudgment. Other species would learn too. The galaxy would never forget the arrival of humanity. The humans had arrived. The law had been enforced. And from that day forward, the message was unmistakable: do not challenge humans. In the silence of space, the Aetheris glided onward, a solitary yet unstoppable symbol of human resolve, power, and principle. The galaxy had changed forever.